We've been producing raw milk at Fen Farm for about 12 years now. Over that time, we've learned a lot of things about raw milk. And from my experience over the years, I put that down to 7 really important steps of how to produce raw milk safely. And this video, we're going to go through those 7 steps in a little bit of detail. Step 1, it starts with the cows, the closed herd status. We don't buy in cows, everything is born on this farm and bred on this farm, and that way we mitigate the risk of other animals coming onto our holding and potentially passing on a disease to our cows, which could therefore make the cow ill, which therefore could get passed through into the milk. Step 2, in my mind, has to be the animal welfare of the herd. To produce raw milk safely, you need happy and healthy animals. If the animal is stress-free, happy, she's more likely to be healthy, and a healthy animal is going to be at the top of its game producing raw milk. The animal likes space. It wants to have places to rest, eat, good food. It needs to have company. At the end of the day, you've got to be kind to them. Being aware of the cows and doing it because you actually love farming and you love animals, you've got to be in that mindset to do this. Step 3 is how clean is the milking parlour, and most importantly is how clean what's inside the milking parlour. Is what counts here. The way you clean the equipment in the milking parlour needs to be able to be washed through thoroughly with the right temperature and the right dosage of chemical. Twice a day, after every milking you milk the cows, the parlour has to be clean properly. This is the milking unit, milking machine, milking clusters. First of all, you've got the surface of the equipment which you put your hand on, and that obviously needs to be clean, but the most important thing is what's inside this liner. That's the bit which touches the cow's teat and it touches the milk. And then what happens after the liner, at every step of the way, from the liner to the milking pipes, all of those areas have to be thought about. And one of the things what we do, where many commercial dairy farms, the milking parlour would have rubber joins, is that we took all of them out and they're all being replaced. Anywhere where that milk travels is replaced by stainless steel welded join that stops a bug trap. We went through every step from the cow's teat to where the milk is bottled, where there's no rubber seals. We can transfer milk between the milking parlour to various places, and it's all done with stainless steel. It's not opened by Jubilee clips and rubber joins. To anyone who works in a milk processing factory, this is like, well, yeah, duh, of course it is. But like most farmers, they don't do this stuff because you don't need to, because it goes to a processing factory. They do it after it's pasteurized. But we're treating raw milk here as though it's a pasteurized product. So that's the big difference of like the way your mindset has to work. Step number 4. Milking the cow. What we do here at the farm is we only take raw milk from the first lines of cows what come in the parlour. The milking parlour is at its cleanest. The person milking the cows is at their freshest. The cows what come into the parlour first are more than likely going to be the healthiest, happiest cows. So that gives us a good chance that the milk is going to be the best milk. So doing all of these things at the start of milking puts you in a much higher place to deliver clean, fresh, raw drinking milk. First we squeeze the cow's teat to visually look at the milk to make sure the milk looks like it should look. Then we go around with a little teat cup which creates foam, and that foam is an antibacterial agent which kills live bacteria on that cow's teat. We then go behind that with a flannel which is literally just a face flannel.
We always ensure that there's only one flannel used per cow.
We then put an alcohol on the end of the cow's teat to kill any remaining bacteria off. Amy's putting the unit on. She's putting the front teats first, not touching the back teats. See, like no hands touching the teat, straight into the unit. So you've got to think like when you've ever been in a hospital and you've seen on a movie like someone doing surgery and the things what they do to not touching something and you know, all of that stuff. That's the way you need to think about this. Step number 5 is rapid temperature drop. Again, it's a really important step with raw milk, is that you've got milk which is live. It's got live bacteria in it, good bacteria. That's the idea. What you don't want to do is have that bacteria grow tenfold, because it will grow very quickly if you leave it warm. So what we're doing is we're taking that down to cold temperatures within like minutes of leaving the cow. What we're doing is preserving the milk from the word go. This piece of kit is our heat exchanger or plate cooler. The purpose of this thing is to take milk from cow's body temperature instantly to 4 degrees. And the way it does that is there's a series of lots of little plates. Milk goes in one end and it passes through plates. The other side of the plate is icy water. This is the water which goes through that heat exchanger. So you put your finger in that. Yeah, it's yeah, you wouldn't want to go swimming in that stuff. Step number 6 is bottling the milk in a food grade environment. From the milking parlor, the milk goes into a food production area. So it's not going into a tank room which then heads off for collection for pasteurized milk from the tanker. It's none of that. It's going straight in from the milking parlor into a food production room.
Within a couple of minutes of the milk entering the tank or entering the bottle, we always do a temperature check. So we check that the milk has got down to temperature. And the second thing is we taste the milk. It's a very important step that you taste the milk at that point, so you pick up any odd flavors, a chemical residue or something a bit different about that milk.
That's good.
So we've seen all of the steps of like from the cows and the animal welfare through to the milking and then all the way through to like being chilled and bottled. But how do we know that that milk, well, all of those steps, what we believe is produce raw drinking milk safely, is actually safe? The 7th and final step is verifying that the product that you make is safe. You need to have a little incubator, some petrofilm and a 1 ml syringe and your milk. And it's very simple really, is that you take 1 ml of milk out of this sample pot and we add it to our petrofilm, bang on in the middle of the petrofilm. So once we've done that step, it's just a case of going in this incubator overnight. By the morning we will have a close enough guess of where that milk is heading. Interesting here, we've got yesterday's. So overnight, so say this is 12 hours later, we won't truly know the exact count at that point, but what we do know is it's good enough. It's what we call a presumptive result. So we know by the morning the direction of travel of this petrofilm. This one here is measuring coliforms. So the current coliform limit for the Food Standards Agency in the UK is 100 counts on this little petrofilm. So I'm just putting onto the magnifying glass so I can count them properly, and I'm reading 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dots. So 5 dots, that's 5 coliforms, what we've picked up in 1 ml. To put that into some comparison, pasteurised milk, the legal limit in the UK is 10 coliforms to be legal to sell as pasteurised milk, and we're cleaner than that. We're cleaner than the pasteurised limit, and we can do that on farm and prove it, which is an incredible feeling after all the years what we've put into this. Go on girls, round you go. Go on. Bringing all those 7 steps together, they now need to be written down in the food safety management plan. You, as the producer, can follow the plan. You've written down the steps, you've written down the risks involved in the steps. You follow it and everybody else in the same organisation follows it too. And you then hold yourself accountable to that plan. We've just gone through what we call the 7 steps to producing raw drinking milk safely. Step number 1 is the biosecurity of the farm. Step number 2, the happy and healthiness of our cows. Step number 3, the cleanliness of the milking parlour and equipment. Step number 4, milking the cow and the method you go about milking that cow. Step number 5 is rapid temperature drop. Step number 6, bottling the milk in a food grade environment. The 7th and final step is verifying that the product that you make is safe by doing in-house testing. From that, you're going to be able to create a product which is incredibly safe, it's nutritious, and most of all, it's delicious.